The designers behind the Pokemon games have created many Pokemon. So many, in fact, that a lot of them don't actually make it into the games. And that is a real shame, because some of these designs are, like, insanely good. Often, these cuts are made because they need to limit how many Pokemon they can put in the games. Or maybe the Pokemon is too similar to an existing one, and the reasons go on and on. This is why there are so many cut Pokemon designs that we were never meant to see. But thanks to many different sources, we get the pleasure of seeing what they decided was unworthy of their games. So here are, in my opinion, the best cut Pokemon designs that I could find. Let's start it off with Crocky. Yeah, it's a bit of a mess. When I first looked at this, I had no clue what I was looking at either. Here's a colored version for a better understanding of what it is. As the name suggests, it is a crocodile Pokemon. Crocky, you get it. With large eyes and horns, originally being hair on the sides of its head. This beautiful creature was scrapped before the Gen 1 games were released and would eventually evolve, pun intended, into the Totodile we all know and love. I still can't get over the fact that they took him away from us. Rest in peace, Crocky. Next up is Manbo 1 and its Evo line. This line includes the adorable Manbo 1, the super cool looking Ikari, and the amazing Gorotesu? Yeah, the Pokemon's name is quite literally grotesque. They straight up insulted it in its own name, which I think is pretty uncalled for. I mean, look at this guy. He's a big cutie. Manbo 1 draws inspiration from the ocean sunfish, or the Mola Mola, which is actually one of the largest bony fish in the world. How did they manage to turn this thing cute? The sunfish's name comes from the fact that they enjoy sunbathing near the surface of the water, and its name in other languages translates to moonfish in reference to its rounded shape. Overall, it looks pretty cute, and I'm sad it got scrapped, but hey, at least we got a Loma Mola. Why would they do this to him? Next in the line is Ikari, my personal favorite of the three. It's half a shark with an anchor on it. It's simple, yet effective. I honestly think this design looks really cool. It's pretty simple, but it works well. The way it goes from this cute, happy little fish into a big, scary shark that looks like it'd bite my hand off if I got too close. Not that I want that. It's great. This thing was clearly reused and turned into Sharpedo later on, which I can't say I'm mad about. I do like Sharpedo, but I still wish I could play a game with this guy in it. That'd be a dream come true. Last but not least for this line is Gorotesu, who we talked a bit about already. It has some different inspirations, clearly being a mix between an anglerfish and an eel, and god dang it, I wish this was in the game instead of freaking Lantern. Don't get me wrong, Lantern is cool, but come on, this guy is way cooler. On the other side of its design, it seemed to have also been turned into Huntail and Gorevice, which are two Pokemon I didn't know existed until maybe a couple years ago. I like the way it changes inspiration so much, going from a sunfish that hangs near the surface of the ocean, to a deep-sea shark, to a freaking abyssal monster. As it gets older, it travels deeper down into the ocean, which is kind of a cool concept for a Pokemon. Gotta say, I'm not happy these got cut, but at least one of the replacements for it is almost as good as the original. Now, this is a line that, when I first saw, I was quite drawn to. These Pokemon are Wolfman and Warwolf. They are very clearly inspired by werewolves and how humans have been using animal furs as clothing for the past 120,000 years of our existence to keep warm in cold times, like during the Pleistocene Epoch, or as normal people call it, the Ice Age, which is why it's clearly Ice-type. These two have very cool designs that I would have loved to see at least been re-implemented into another Pokemon, but no, they just decided to completely throw it out. Some people think it became Snorunt, which I can see, but Snorunt comes nowhere close to being as epic as Warwolf. I just don't get why they would scrap these guys. Is it because of the fur? Did they think it was too dark for a children's game? I mean, that can't possibly be why, seeing as Cubone is carrying around its mother's skull on its head. I also like the fact that we can't really see what's underneath the fur. Kinda reminds me of Gabumon from Digimon. I mean, I'm not the only one who sees it, right? But this idea was also implemented into Mimikyu's design, the whole not being able to see what it looks like thing. And honestly, it's a cool idea. And they did well with it on both Wolfman's and Mimikyu's design, so I'm happy. Still would have been awesome to have a werewolf Pokemon though. Kotora and Raitora, two very well-known cut Pokemon. They are very clearly based on tigers and thunder. Kotora means child tiger, while Raitora means thunder tiger, although both are thunder tigers. I'm pretty sad these round boys didn't make it into the final game. I mean, they're just so adorable and they look so squishy. And I like how they kept him all round and cute instead of making him an absolute beast when he evolved. These two were very clearly replaced by Pikachu, which begs the question, would Kotora have been the mascot of Pokemon if it hadn't been replaced? Would Pokemon even be the same if Pikachu had been the scrapped one? Imagine Ash journeying around the Pokemon world with a little thunder tiger instead of the iconic yellow mouse we all grew up with. These questions sadly may never be answered, but we must accept our fate and hopefully not anger the Pikachu gods. Let's talk about Octillery. Yeah, that one. The stupid looking octopus guy that I forget even exists half of the time. Okay, that was harsh. I'm sorry, Octillery. I don't actually hate you that much. I was being hyperbolic. This guy had a beta design, and honestly, I don't entirely get why Game Freak ever changed it. Like, look how cool this is! He had much clearer tank elements and war-related features, like the helmet and the tentacles more closely resembling treads on a tank. However, that could be the exact reason it was changed. To war-y. Warlike? War-ish? Whatever. They likely toned down the tank elements to make it more kid-friendly, which sucks because the original design is so much better than this boring octopus-birdo hybrid. Alright, here we have likely my favorite of any design I have seen so far. This is the Peanut Pokémon. Yes, just the Peanut Pokémon. It does not have a name. But he kind of looks like a George. George is very clearly a peanut-inspired Pokemon, which I think is pure genius and never should have been scrapped in the first place. Look at this cute little guy. He's trapped in the peanut shell looking all adorable. He's a bit on the derpy side and then suddenly boom! I mean, this evolution is super cool. And although being much cooler, it still keeps its adorableness, which is amazing. And the flower on the back of its head resembles that of a peanut flower, a beautiful yellow-orange flower. The neck and head looks kind of like a seed sprouting, which is just mwah, and the tail looks like peanut leaves. Altogether, it is a beautiful representation of my favorite thing in the world. Peanuts. George was designed to be in X and Y, which fits well because peanut oil is very common in French cooking, more so in the southern parts of the country than any other. I feel they didn't add this beautiful creation of God in because he does share a resemblance with Breloom, another one of my favorite Pokemon. But they could have at least tried to fit him in. I mean, I totally would have loved X and Y if this guy was in it. Next up is another one from X and Y, the Cassowary Pokémon. This guy looks absolutely sick. This is the kind of Pokemon I would definitely use on my team when I was like 10. I mean, look how cool he is. This Pokemon apparently eats fire? Kind of like fire eaters, entertainers who, well, eat fire. Yeah, that was hard to guess, I know. It also says that they are nocturnal and are drawn to bonfires, likely because they want to eat them. For the second evolution, they use the bone on their head, referred to as casques in actual birds, and heat it up with fire that they store in the pouch on their neck to headbutt their enemies. Their tails are also used to fan fires. this guy was likely replaced by Talonflame or scrapped because they already made Talonflame, which is downright terrible because this guy looks so awesome and no one can tell me otherwise. The inspiration of cassowaries I'm not too sure about. I mean, Pokemon didn't really start making the Pokemon fit into the real-life inspiration of the region until Gen 7, right after X and Y. So it's likely it was just a random Aspel idea that turned into this amazing design. Alright, last up, this part is a bit different because instead of talking about one Pokemon or just one evolutionary line, I'm going to be talking about 3. That is because now I'm taking a look at the beta mega designs for the Gen 1 starters. Starting with Venusaur. Wow. Just wow. He looked like a wise old sage from the mountains, and I just absolutely love that it looks like he's eating ramen. Honestly, same Venusaur. I practically live off of that stuff. I love the feeling that he's like this old man that knows everything, which sadly isn't present in our official Mega Venusaur. And not having a random flower on his forehead makes him look a lot better too. Blastoise is a fun one. I can practically picture the meeting they had about his Mega. Alright, so what do we do with Blastoise? We could make his shell bigger. We should put tiny shells on his arms. Great ideas, guys. Keep them coming. Guns. What was that? Give him more guns! I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. But I can't say it doesn't work. I couldn't have come up with anything better. I also like how they kept the beard thing going, like they had with Venusaur. And the mustache makes him look very sophisticated. And the mustache makes him look very sophisticated as well. Finally, the moment you've been waiting for. It's the one, the only, Charizard. Honestly, this Mega is way better than what they gave us. I mean, he looks like an actual dragon now, which is just an amazing idea, and the jaw thing looks wicked. No clue what it is, but it is incredibly cool. And from these drawings of alternate colorations, it seems like they had the idea to give Charizard multiple forms since the get-go. Typical Charizard, always getting the special treatment. Why couldn't Blastoise get 2 Megas? I mean, he's just as cool, maybe even cooler. All of these Megas look absolutely amazing, and they go together so well. I totally would have loved to see them in a game, but sadly they look too much like Digimon and not enough like Pokemon. Which is basically what Mega Evolution is, the Digimonification of Pokemon. But sadly we have to live our lives without these masterpieces. But at least we have these concept drawings to keep us going. It'll be rough, but I know we can make it to the day when finally, Game Freak will stop giving Charizard VIP treatment and let the real star shine. Whoa, look at that! You made it to the end! I know this was a bit different than my usual stuff, but I thought I'd try something out of the ordinary since I really like Pokemon, and I've never really done anything other than gaming videos. Who knows, maybe this is my calling. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe because this was honestly the most fun I've ever had making a video. And I know for sure that I'm going to make more like this. Since this video is over, how about you go ahead and click on this one? I'm sure you'll like it, so go ahead. Yeah, there you go. You don't even realize you're falling for my trap. Next thing you know, you're going to be addicted to my amazing videos. You'll watch another, and another, and another, and another, and another.